It's been a very interesting few years, and we've seen what happens when people don't have a voice and don't stand up and try and repel against these systems. And I don't think they would have tested this kind of system or tested this kind of censorship and repression to just stop it and go back to normal. I think it was a test of a system, and they intend on coming in harder than ever before with some new story and some new excuse later on down the line. And it gets to a point where you finally have to stand up and realize that you cannot run from what is going to come to you. You cannot escape it. You cannot hide. You cannot deny it. You get to a point where you understand you need to find people who are like-minded and stand up. And the best way you can stand up at this current point in time is just to educate others and just to highlight the injustices which are being purported by these systems. My banning was absolutely and utterly unjust. I never broke any terms of service. They know that. The whole world knows that now. And the public sentiment is on my side. And the more people talk about this and the more people discuss this and tell others and educate others, the harder it's going to be for them to keep this curtain, this iron curtain of theirs, over the truth, because that's all they truly want to do. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Everyone knows this saying, and it's completely and utterly true. And we're now in a situation where they have absolute power. But I do believe that we're moving to a transitional period, a transitional place, and you've been a massive leader in that force. And even now, as much as they say you're banned, anybody who types your name into a lot of these matrix-led platforms can still find videos of you. So they can't completely and utterly shut you up, because people want to listen to what you have to say. People want to hear you. And it's for that reason that they fear you, because they try and take men like us, delete us, and replace us with these talking heads. But humans have an instinct, and that instinct allows us to feel affinity with somebody. They can hear your voice or mine and know they want to hear what we have to say, because they know we have character and we're integral and we have morals. These talking heads don't have any of that. So when they put them there to read from the hymn sheet, it simply doesn't resonate with the youth of today. And that's how I managed to become the most Googled man on the planet, by just telling men the truth about the experience they're going through and the life they're going to live. It's a really interesting period of human time. And I've really been appreciative also of your support and the support of the other mainstream characters who stood up and said, listen, this has gone on long enough. The Matrix attacked me. I knew they always would. They attacked in a very clever manner. I received a strike on YouTube, which prevents you from posting for 7 days. After I received the strike, Meta banned me, which is Instagram and Facebook. They banned me. I filmed a YouTube video to reply to the ban while I still had my YouTube account, because they're pretending they're fair and that it all doesn't happen in sync. They allowed my YouTube account to survive for 4 more days, and then they banned my YouTube account. So the strike was given to me on purpose to make sure that I couldn't post my reply video directly after the first ban, and for them to pretend that there was some kind of degree of separation between the large matrix attacks. I've been banned on basically every single platform, from Airbnb to Uber through to social media platforms, payment processors, absolutely everything. And you're completely right. I teach people and inspire people to think for themselves. And that makes you the enemy of the establishment, because you are not allowed to think. You're only allowed to comply. When these large companies decide to ban somebody, they also monitor in real time public perception, social media comments and posts, and how people feel about their decision. So to make sure they don't look tyrannical, after they ban you, they used a media machine to lie about you and paint a narrative that you're the worst person in the world, to try and convince the populace that your ban was actually a good thing, so they can get away with their actions unscathed. The lies are a very, very important part of their plan. They're always pre-orchestrated, and they come in hard and fast and heavy across every single mainstream media outlet in real time. As soon as you've been banned, you can no longer defend yourself. You are defenseless. They destroy the people who can inspire resistance amongst the populace, and they need to control the narrative. These people who I often use the popular movie as an easy way to characterize and explain my mindset. I call them the Matrix, and they are the Matrix because they purport a false version of reality for people to subscribe to, so that they can be drained of their resource and use. And they literally paint a false reality. And the reason they're able to do that is because everyone who counters that reality, they attempt to delete in real time. They need to control the world and control how people think. And we are a threat to that. First thing they want to do is they want to hurt your money. So they destroy your processing, your banking, anything that involves money. You're going to start being put under review or deleted and disabled in real time. Shortly after, you're right, the social media platforms ban you. First one bans you. The other ones usually wait a day or two, but they put in a strike so you cannot reply and use the platform. They put in a day or two gap to try and pretend that they're not all doing it in succinct. And after that, it comes in hard and fast, from Airbnb to Uber to Discord to Gmail accounts to absolutely anything and everything. They just start annihilating in real time, wiping them off the face of the planet. And you have no recourse. While they are doing this, they ensure that their media machine is telling it the biggest lies and gaslighting the public into believing you're genuinely dangerous and deserve what's happening to you. This is a big part of it. They need the populace to believe that you deserve this treatment. So they elaborate, they exaggerate, they choose small portions of things you said, they take things out of context, and they attack you absolutely, so that people at home sit and go, wow, this bad person should be deleted for my safety. They convince the people of the world that the only way they can be safe is if people like us don't exist, when nothing could be further from the truth. One of the key components to tyranny is you have to remove all opposing sides of an argument. And that's basically the easiest way to tyranny. This is what people don't understand. If you have two sides of an argument, regardless, even the people who disagree with me, I think they should have a platform, should be allowed to speak, so that we can find a way to make sure that all of our discourse and all of our narratives are tested and battleground tested, and we have a chance to explain ourselves. When you remove the other side and live in an echo chamber, nobody needs to have any kind of logical explanation or logical grounding for their thoughts. And that's how it's very, very easy and quick to grind into complete and utter tyranny. I think that there's massive pressure behind the dam, that people are starting to wake up and understand that these people are tyrannical. And the only thing that's missing, the only crack that has been missing for a long time, is the fact that once you've been depersoned, a lot of people are genuinely fearful of it because they don't feel like they can maintain mainstream consciousness. You've done very, very well. I'm now going to do very, very well myself. And as we continue to lead the world to show that even without these platforms, you can stay relevant, respected, and still reach your audience, then that's going to put the crack in the dam. And I believe the pressure is going to do the rest, and it's going to finally explode and blow open. People are tired of being told what they're allowed to hear and what they're allowed to think on all sides of the spectrum. I like to believe that people are tired of this. And it doesn't matter what kind of monopoly you hold. Every single monopoly in history believed they had ultimate power and would never, ever, ever lose control. The Roman Empire did, the Mongol Empire did, this tech empire does. And sooner or later, when you're too tyrannical and you piss off populations, there is revolution. We are men of old, and leaders of old used to charge first into battle. We don't send other people's sons and kids to go die in war and hide in a nice cushy office ourselves. No, men of old, we got on a horse and we charged in front of our armies, and we're a different caliber of man. And that's why we have independent thoughts in the first place. You're right. We never subscribed. We never sold our souls. We developed independent thoughts that allowed us to think for ourselves and come to our own conclusions, despite the fact that there are large groups of people that told us we were completely and utterly wrong. And we have the kind of personality and persuasion and also charisma to convince others and inspire others to charge at the enemy. And that's exactly what they're scared of. And I think that's what they're scared of, because there's a huge swath of the population that aligns with my messaging. And the reason they fear it is because I'm speaking to the youth of the world and telling them that the way they've been feeling, when they've been feeling like they've been disaffected and forgotten about, is not their fault. They try and delete me and replace me with some puppet like Logan Paul or James Charles or one of these mouthpieces. And nobody feels affinity to these people because they know they're not brave. They know that they sold their souls, and they know that they're just parrots which are repeating what they've been told to say. I am inspiring the youth by actually standing up and talking about the issues which are true to them. And they see that my reality is a reality they want to emulate. And when you're a young man and you see a man whose life you want, you're very likely to listen to his thoughts and opinions on how he should get there. That's all I'm doing. And I'm leading by example. And that's what they're truly, truly fearful of. They don't want me to make people to feel better. We're talking about your friend. I made your friend feel better. That's what they want. They don't want that. They don't want people to feel better. They don't want anyone to feel good. They don't want anyone to think. They don't want anyone to have their own independent thoughts. They don't want any of that. What they want is mindless, soulless slaves who are so depressed they can't think about anything outside of themselves, and they're busy popping medication and sitting around in a room in between shifts at their slave job. That's all they want. And they find me as a threat. They think I'm a threat to the system, purely because I encourage young men to get strong, train hard, find some brothers who they can rely on, and think for themselves. When the shit hits the fan, when they need soldiers to go die in a war, when they need firemen to charge into a burning building, when they need police officers to hopefully save children in a school shooting and not just stand outside, when they need real men to go do real things, then they call on the men like me and the men who think like me. Then they want the men who are brave, who are masculine, who have tenets of masculinity, who have honor, who have duty. Then they want us. But as soon as they don't want us to go risk our lives to protect them, they say we're not allowed opinion, we're not allowed to think, we're not allowed to talk, and we should be depersoned and deleted. deleted. They try and use us absolutely and utterly because society needs men like us, and I'm the one who's been speaking up for them. They also pretend they give a shit about men's mental health. You told me one example about how I helped your friend. I have hundreds of thousands of emails for young men I've helped and older men who I've helped with their mindset and helped with their approach towards life. I have genuinely changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people for the better. They talk about giving a shit about men and giving a shit about men's mental health while deleting me, the person who helps them the most, and saying they're going to replace me with some algorithm matrix agent bot like Logan Paul